Before we are going to start with qiyas again. We had this lesson before, but not with the brothers here. But before I go there, inshallah, I will just mention some mistakes that the Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik, Imam Shafi'i and Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal have done. The reason is, it's not that we are trying to look mistakes of people, but then when you say a person, when you say, oh, this man, when you tell someone, oh, qiyas is wrong, he will say, oh, who said this? Ibn Hazm, the one who says this and bring some mistakes that he has done. So before we go to the mistakes of Ibn Hazm, we just see that everybody is the same. People can't do mistakes. So really, if someone wants to criticize someone, he has to criticize everybody. I just give this example here. Now, for example, Imam Abu Hanifa, we have nothing against Abu Hanifa. Abu Hanifa and Malik and Shafi'i and Ahmad bin Hanbal, the thing that we have common between us and them, that we are people who follow the Prophet only. Abu Hanifa never had an imam. He was not Umari, Abu Bakri, Hassan Basri, or he was calling himself a Muslim. He never said that I have an imam that I have to follow in all cases. Same thing was Malik, same thing was Shafi'i. But the people who choose to follow these four people with no dalil, without no proof, when they are right and when they are wrong, the problem is with these people. These people who choose to be Hanafis or Shafi'is or Malikis, when they have no proof for that. And for that reason, they will try to make these people right no matter what. There is one person called Shamsuddin al-Sarkhasi. Shamsuddin al-Sarkhasi. This person, he is called, the title they give him, they call him Shamsul A'imma. Shamsul A'imma, the son of the Imams. The majority of Ahnaf don't really follow the madhab of Abu Hanifa. They follow what this man says. What does this man say? This man say, any hadith, any ayah from the book of Allah that contradict what Abu Hanifa has said, he said clearly in the book of Usul that he wrote and that his people follow. It's in his book, the Kitab of Mabsut. He said, any ayah in the book of Allah or any hadith that is from the Prophet that contradict what Abu Hanifa has said is either invalid or mansukh, or abrogated, or shouldn't be taken. Ayah or hadith that contradict the words of Abu Hanifa, not the words that Abu Hanifa has said. And you have find many people of those who follow the madahib who say something similar. And the problem is, it's always easy. When you hear the truth, you hear it and you understand it. But the problem is, at the end, people will not tell you, oh, you are wrong because this ayah say this. You are wrong because this hadith say this. No. Are you right and Abu Hanifa is wrong? Are you right and Ibn Taymiyyah is wrong? He can see that, he tell you, yeah, I understand what you are saying. I can see it's right. But like when Ibrahim, the Prophet, came to his people and he asked them, he destroyed the idols that they were worshipping, and when they came and asked who destroyed them, he said the big one destroyed them. Ask them if they talk. Ask them if they can speak. So they went back to themselves. فَرَجَعُوا إِلَى أَنفُسِهِمْ. They went back to themselves. they don't speak. Oh, they are doing something wrong. These people can't even speak, can't even defend themselves. But then Allah Ta'ala say, ثُمَّ نُكِسُوا عَلَى رُؤُوسِهِمْ, and then they went back. لَقَدْ عَلِمْتَ مَا هَؤُلَاءِ يَنْطِقُونَ. First, they thought about it, they accepted it, and then they sit together and, okay, are we right and our parents are wrong? All these people are wrong? And then they went back to their misguidance. The story, there is a joke, a story. It's not a joke, it's a story, a funny story. They say someone ate food and then he fell unconscious. People thought he died. His family started washing him to take him to bury him. Then while pressing on his back, he woke up. Then they told him, well, we have told people that you are dead. People will make fun of us. People will talk about us. You just have to sleep. We are going to bury you anyway. No, this is not the funny side of the story. So these people said, okay, we are not going to make fun of ourselves. They put him, he thought, now if I insist, they will kill me. In that village, when someone dies, after the prayer, after they do the janazah, they take him to the graveyard which is at the end of the village. There is the palace of the leader of the village. They will stop next to the palace. The man will do dua, Fatiha for the man before they bury him. He said, okay, this is my occasion. When I arrive next to the palace, when they stop me there, the leader will come out of the balcony to do the prayer. What I will do, I will wake up, stand up, and tell him in front of everybody that I am alive, and then they can do nothing. Everybody will be witness. So they took him. When they arrived next to the palace, the leader came out, the man stood up and said, I am not dead. Just these people want to bury me. The leader looked at him and then looked at the hundreds or thousands of people who are following the janazah, and he said, do you want me to accept your word? Do you want me to take your word? You are saying the truth and all these people are liars. So this is what happens normally. You say something, everybody understands it and say, oh, you are right, and everybody is wrong. And everybody sometimes is just following, doesn't know what he is following. The mistakes that I was going to mention, because we are going to mention something about qiyas, and qiyas sometimes look like, oh, these people are saying something absurd. But before we go there, see, Imam Abu Hanifa says, Imam Abu Hanifa says, and it's not his mistake, it's the mistake of the people who took this thing without thinking about it. For example, this is the madhahib, the four madhab saying, if, like, during prayer, there are some actions that are forbidden, you shouldn't talk. You talk in your prayer is invalid. During fasting, you eat or you approach your wife, then your fasting is invalid. You go to Hajj, and there are specific things that Allah said don't do in Hajj, like don't approach your wife, don't hunt. If you do one of these things, then your Hajj is invalid. Because of the madhab saying that any sin that you commit while you are worshipping Allah during prayer or fasting or Hajj will not invalidate your prayer or your fasting or your Hajj. Doing a sin during your worship, doing a sin during your worship will not invalidate your action of worship. This is the majority, the saying of the majority. Ahnaf, Hanbalis, Malikis. That resulted in this saying that if someone go to Hajj and approaches his wife, has a relation with his wife, then his Hajj is invalid. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَلَا رَفَثَ وَلَا فُسُوقَ وَلَا جِدَالَ فِي الْحَجِّ. There is no rafath, no woman approaching in Hajj. But he says, if someone rapes a man during Hajj, because it's not mentioned, his Hajj is valid. See how bad is this saying. He says that if a Muslim kills another Muslim, if a Muslim kills a kafir, if a Muslim kills a kafir, he should be killed. You may not find this very something which is like strange, but people at the time when he said it found this strange. The first rebellion against the Khalifa, the first Harun al-Rashid had grasp on the authority. Nobody could in his time do anything. He had never never rebelled against Harun al-Rashid. But when Abu Yusuf, the student of Abu Hanifa, who was the head of the judges, decided to kill a Muslim who killed a kafir, and the Rasul ﷺ say, the Prophet says clearly that a Muslim shouldn't be killed because of a kafir. When Abu Yusuf said this, you had all Baghdad, at the time the Khilafah was in Baghdad, we had all Baghdad coming out, and they encircled the palace of Harun al-Rashid until they released the man. One of the mistakes of Imam Malik say, if someone has a daughter and his daughter or his wife is taken by the kafirs as in war, she was kidnapped by the kafirs, and this kafir now have an agreement with us, we make an agreement with these kafirs, and they come to our country with our wives, with our daughters, and they have them as slaves, they have relation with them, they force them into relation because they are their slaves. Then we should do nothing about it. We just watch and don't say anything because we have an agreement, we have to respect the agreement. This is something that doesn't contradict Quran and Hadith, and I am not going into details, but this is one of the things the other madahib say, how could he have said this? Same thing what Abu Hanifa has said. We go to Shafi'i, for example. Abu Shafi'i say, if there is water, because according to the hadith da'if that he takes, according to the hadith which is weak that he takes, that the water when it is 150 liters, we have spoken about this last time, then this water, if a drop of dirt fall in it, like urine, this water is impure. You can't use it to drink, you can't drink it, you can't use it at all. That is, if a drop of water in 150 liters. He say, if you add 1 spoon of water to the 150, it becomes 150 liters and a spoon, and you put 1 liter of urine, that's fine, the water is clean. So this is something, just because people always when they hear something, they don't try to look, why this person has said what he has said. Just because I feel this thing is wrong, I will just reject it and reject the person who said it. Doesn't matter where he got it from. Okay, these things, I think anyone who hear these things clearly say it's wrong. I mention them because if they are wrong, when you hear it, you think you feel it's wrong, and because it's when you take the dalil as well, the proof from Quran and Sunnah, you can prove it to be wrong. Abu Shafi'i, for example, say the hair is life. Hair is life. Everybody hair is life because it grows. So, if you cut it, that is dead, like dead meat. And because it's dead, it's dirty. So if you are praying and you have one hair falling on your clothes, your prayer is invalid. That no one has said this before him or after him. Yes. Shafi'i saying this. And of course, Imam Ahmad says one of the biggest things ever. That is one of the biggest mistakes ever. He takes one hadith literally that says that Allah has created Adam on his image, and that caused him to say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks like he has an image like Adam, and this is one of the things that nobody has agreed with him, and it's a big mistake. These people have done mistake. It's a mistake. This mistake, inshallah, what we think, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them an ajr for it, a reward. It's a mistake, but inshallah they will get a reward for it. They were trying to please Allah. They were trying to say the thing that they are right. They think is right. I mentioned this just because when we talk qiyas, we will mention other people. Ibn Hazm, and then who is Ibn Hazm? Oh, Ibn Hazm who said if a dog licks in a bowl, you should wash it 7 times. But if the dog falls in the bowl, doesn't matter? Yeah, but you have heard the other things as well. So I am just trying to bring a balance here to make everybody equal. I was going to talk about this, taking the apparent, what is apparent from the words, the apparent from Quran and Sunnah. This is something that the Muslims have agreed on, except 2 groups, the Shia and the Batiniya, the Qaramita. We call the Batiniya, Shia and Batiniya. They say we shouldn't take the words of the Prophet, we shouldn't take the words of Allah literally, on the apparent meaning. People may think, oh, this is the Zahiris who say this. No, this is agreed upon by the Muslims, that you have to take the words of Allah literally. Generally, this is agreed on. Of course, the Shia say the words of Allah, the words of the Prophet, only the Imams can understand them. And then they go and translate, explain Quran the way they like. Wherever any ayah in Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say slaughter cow, they say meaning slaughter Aisha. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say he mixes the 2 seas, they say that is Fatima and Ali marrying each other, Ali marrying Fatima, mixed together. From these 2 seas comes pearls and marjan, another thing that comes from the sea. They say this is Hassan and Hussein. Stuff like this, playing with Quran, but not taking the literal meaning of Quran. And we have the other group which is called Batini. Batini, everything has apparent, Zahir and Batin. The Zahir is the apparent, and the Batin is the hidden. So there was these people who called Batiniya. They translate Quran the way they like. These people were at what point they took control over Mecca. They destroyed the Kaaba and they stole the black stone for a long time. This is the Batinis. If you are not a Batini, if you are not someone who take the hidden meanings of the words, then you are a Zahiri. The name is a bid'ah to call yourself Zahiri. But if you don't take the hidden meanings of the words, that means you take the apparent meaning of the words. There is no something in between. And this is when the people say, oh, these people follow Quran and Sunnah literally. They take the apparent meanings. Everybody, the truth is, everybody agree on this rule. Whether they apply it all the time or not, that is the thing. But as general rule, everybody agree on it. That you find this, any book you take, any tafsir you take, they will mention a lot of tafsir, a lot of things. You find Ibn Kathir, Ibn Jarir Tabari, Qurtubi, they will mention many explanation to the ayah, and then say, but we go with this because this is what the apparent meaning of this ayah, so we go with it. But they don't maintain that. Sometimes they have to not to go to with the apparent meaning, because probably the imam say this, because his imam say that, or because his madhab say that. The word has apparent meaning. Some people say it has a hidden meaning. Okay. The hidden meaning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, قُلْ لَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ الْغَيْبَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. That no one knows what's on the heaven and on the earth, the hidden, except Allah. So, we have to follow the apparent, because the hidden, no one knows it except Allah. So if Allah chooses to teach us this hidden meaning in His book, we will take it. Because how do we know it? From the words of Allah, from the words of the Prophet. But one person just like this, a person who come and say, this word in Arabic means this, but here it doesn't. Here we have to give it a different meaning. From where? How do you know that? We must always follow the apparent meaning of the words. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught Adam the names, all the names. And these names have been taught to people generation by generation, every nation in its own language. When someone talks to you and tells you, put your clothes on, doesn't mean go and eat food. When someone tells you, don't say idle talk, don't talk any idle talk, doesn't mean don't play music. So if someone say here, it means this, tell him from where? Did Allah say it? We take it. Did the Prophet say it? We take it. He doesn't talk from himself. Whatever he says is revelation. Anyone else? He must explain. We need explanation. Where he got it from. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala criticized the Jewish. What did He say about them? يحرفون الكلمة عن مواضعه. They misplace the words. They take the words from their places. What's the place of the word? The meaning of the word. يحرفون meaning distort. Yeah. The Jewish, they distort the words from their places. This is not taking the word in the apparent meaning. And this is Allah criticizing the Jewish for doing that. So we shouldn't really distort the words from their places. We have to take the words the way they are. Until is proven that this word here doesn't mean what people know. Like prayer. Prayer. The word prayer, you say it to any Arab, he will not understand that facing the Qibla, standing and bowing, and he will not understand that. He will understand making dua, praying. The way the English when you say praying, we are praying, ask Allah for something. This word was taken from its place, changed. But who changed it? Allah changed it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةِ, offer your prayer. The Prophet said, صَلُّوا كَمَا رَأَيْتُمُونِي أُصَلِّي, pray the way you saw me praying. So we know here that the prayer that Allah has ordered us is not that the prayer that we used to know. So this word has changed. Change it, Allah and the Prophet. It's fine, we don't have a problem with that. Someone else, he must say from where he got it. I just mentioned the taking the apparent meaning because it has to do with the qiyas. Qiyas is this: is Allah giving a commandment, a hukm for about something, and we look, we see something similar, we give it the same hukm. Can you put it in the
basically taking when there's no proof for something, when they believe there's no proof for something, they take an ayah, a verse of the Quran or hadith, and the ruling that is applied to that hadith or that verse, they apply it to that thing which they are.
It's not mentioned.
That is not mentioned.
You see, you take something that is in religion, they think that has not been mentioned in Quran or Sunnah, that the ruling has not been mentioned in Quran and Sunnah, and then compare it to something that has been mentioned, and the truth, everything has been mentioned. The thing that has not been mentioned are, Allah didn't forget them. He just left them. Do whatever you want according to the rules. There is rules for that as well. So they say something has not been mentioned. For example, the Prophet has spoken about the donkey, and he said it's haram. But they can't find that Allah has spoken about horse, which when we look, it looks like a donkey. So since Allah has made the donkey haram and the horse look like the donkey, we give it the same ruling and we say it's haram. This is what is qiyas. Qiyas is to take something that has not been mentioned in Quran and Sunnah, compare it to something that look at the similarities. It's the similarity that it has with something that has been mentioned in Quran and Sunnah, and give it the same ruling. This qiyas consists of things. Now, the thing that has been mentioned in Quran and Sunnah, they call it the root. Like here, the donkey will be the root. The thing that has not been mentioned, has been compared to the other thing, is called the branch. The ruling here is haram. The reason, the illah, we call it illah. Why? We will look. Why did Allah make before we do qiyas, we ask always this question. Why did Allah make this thing haram? So, why did Allah make haram the donkey? So they think, because it carries the stuff of people. You can use it as transport. And the horse, you can use it as transport. So, it is haram. Because Allah made this haram, this one should be haram as well. This is qiyas. What is their proof for this qiyas? Their proof for this qiyas, they have never agreed on proof. What Shafi'i say is a proof, Qadi Iyad deny it. He said this can't be a proof, and he brings something else. And Ibn Suraj bring another proof, and Ibn Taymiyyah bring different proof, and Ibn Qayyim bring different proof. And everybody criticized the proof that other person has brought. Abu Shafi'i says in his proof that qiyas is allowed, and actually his people stopped saying it because they thought it was very weak. He says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, O you who believe, kill not game while in the sacred precinct in the state of pilgrimage. And any of you doth so intentionally, whoever killed while in state of ihram, the compensation is an offering brought to the Kaaba. So you kill a game, you bring a compensation, a similar, a domestic animal equivalent to the one he has killed, as judged by two just men amongst you. So he said this is dalil about qiyas. Everybody else who heard this, because you heard it now, you don't understand it, but if you think, oh, if Shafi'i said it must be right. No, it is not right. And it has nothing to do with qiyas actually. And everybody who came after Shafi'i, including the Shafi'is, those who follow Shafi'i, couldn't even talk about it. They disregarded it. They tried to bring more proofs. Because if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered you, it's Allah who ordered us to slaughter something in compensation of killing something else. Qiyas is not this. Qiyas is Allah making something haram or making something an obligation, and you come and do something similar. Qiyas in this case will be this. Okay, since someone has killed something that belongs to Allah, because the game doesn't belong to anybody, he must offer something in compensation, then the qiyas will be, if someone kills a human, he must go to Kaaba and sacrifice another human. This is qiyas. He must buy a human being, slave, and sacrifice it in Kaaba. If you do qiyas, this will be qiyas. Qiyas is something. Always Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does something, say something, you have to do something similar. This ayah has nothing to do with qiyas as said, and actually nobody could understand what Shafi'i has understood. And they criticized it, those who are not from his madhab. Those who are from his madhab just disregarded it and tried to bring more proofs, like Ibn Suraj. Ibn Suraj said this. He said this ayah: وَلَوْ رَدُّوهُ إِلَى الرَّسُولِ وَإِلَى أُولِي الْأَمْرِ مِنْهُمْ لَعَلِمَهُ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَنبِطُونَهُ مِنْهُمْ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke about the hypocrites who started spreading rumors in Medina. When the Prophet, it was said that the Prophet has divorced his wives. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the munafiqeen and some weak Muslims started spreading these rumors around in Medina. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَوْ رُدُّوهُ إِلَى الرَّسُولِ. If instead of publicizing these rumors, they went back to Allah and the Prophet, those who do istinbat, those who extract
or examine,
those who extract things would have known it. So they said extracting is qiyas, because you have to go deep inside the meaning of the words to understand, to get rulings. So this is one of the strongest proofs for qiyas actually. This is one of the strongest proof of qiyas, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that those who extract things could have known it. So there are some people who can extract things and some people who can't. Let's say how people extracted these things. How Umar ibn Khattab, who said this ayah was revealed because of him. Umar ibn Khattab says this ayah was revealed for this reason. He said that I heard that the Prophet divorced his wives. I went to the Prophet. I saw people outside crying. The people are crying outside because they believed the rumors that the Prophet has divorced his wives. He entered to the Prophet, knocked on the door, and asked him, "Did you divorce your wives?" He said no. He said this ayah was revealed because of that. So how did Umar ibn Khattab extract the truth? By doing qiyas or looking at the deep meaning of the words? No. He went to the Prophet and asked him. And this is what we say. Every time you have something you don't know the ruling of, go and look in Quran and Sunnah and you will find it. The Quran is going to Allah. When you go to Quran, you are going to Allah. When you go to the Prophet, when you go to the Sunnah, you are going to the Prophet. The proof that Ibn Taymiyyah has said, Ibn Taymiyyah said, "Inna Allah ya'muru bil adli wal ihsan." Allah has ordered the justice.
Has ordered you with justice.
With justice and excellence. So he said justice is this. Justice is two similar things must take the same ruling. And I tell you, everybody who hear this thing, everybody who has spoken about these proofs, even though those people who are for qiyas didn't know what to say really. He was like, the word baffled. He doesn't know how does someone like this man, with his knowledge, will bring this dalil and say this is qiyas. Inna Allah ya'muru bil adl. That's mean. The donkey, that the horse should be haram because the donkey is haram. The justice is what Allah has made just. Whatever Allah has said is halal, that thing should be considered halal. Whatever Allah has said it's haram, that thing must be haram, considered to be haram. This is the justice. The justice is to follow what Allah has said. Justice is not to be taken from our intellect. Justice in that case, people will say, what these people are saying. A woman should go outside. If the man can go outside, a woman should go outside. If a man can marry 4 women, then a woman can marry 4 men. If we take it, but justice is what Allah has said. Anything that Allah has said, that is just. Anything that Allah contradicts the book of Allah, that thing is wrong. The dalil of Ibn al-Qayyim said, من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة. Said the mushrikeen has asked, who will bring the bones from death? Say that Allah will bring the one who gave it first life will bring it back. He said this is qiyas. And the people who came after Ibn al-Qayyim, when they mentioned this, they didn't bother to give an answer. Because qiyas is not that something is similar to something. Everything is similar to everything. Anything that you want is similar. A human is similar to the sky, is it? There is a similarity between human and the mountains. They are both created by Allah. Yeah, they say we take 2 similar things and we give them the same ruling. Anything in the world, take any 2 things in the world, they are similar to each other in one particular or more.
Only there is one thing.
What? Yeah, they are both similar. They have something similar. Because haqq is created by Allah and batil is created by Allah. Yes. So anything, yes.
They both claim to be the truth.
Who?
Saying haqq and batil.
Yes.
Those are from haqq.
Yes, that's true. This is another thing. That haqq, the truth, haqq always say I am the truth, and the batil always say I am the truth. So they have something in common. The thing is, qiyas is not two things that are, we say this thing is similar to this thing. This is not the qiyas. Qiyas is, this thing is haram or halal because it looks like this thing which is halal or haram. Two things that look similar or are similar, one of them is haram from the book of Allah, the other thing must be haram. This is qiyas. So if we have to apply this qiyas about the ayah says that Allah will bring to life the bones the way He gave them life in the first time. This is two things similar. If we do qiyas here, we say since when He gave them life first time, He gave them orders and He asked them to worship Him, and they had to go through hardship, and they have to obey Allah and to obey the orders, and they have to be tested. That means the second time when He will bring them, they will have to go through the same thing. This is qiyas. The other example that Ibn al-Qayyim said, he said, of course he didn't stop here, he said Quran is full of examples. He said Quran is full of examples. He said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in Quran, وَتِلْكَ الْأَمْثَالُ نَضْرِبُهَا لِلنَّاسِ, and this are examples, and those are examples, or similarities. We show them to people, and no one will understand them except the alims. He said this is telling us that we should do qiyas. Allah in His book give examples, and qiyas is about comparing things. Allah in His book compare things. This is not equal to this, or this is equal to this. He say that means we should do the same thing. Compare things to each other and give them the same ruling. Yeah, but the thing is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is true that He gives examples and compare things in His books, in His book. But He forbade us from doing that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the way He said that He gave examples in Quran, وَتِلْكَ الْأَمْثَالُ نَضْرِبُهَا لِلنَّاسِ, this is examples and similarities that we show to people. The same way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَلَا تَضْرِبُوا لِلَّهِ الْأَمْثَالِ, don't strike examples to Allah. He does that, yes. We are not allowed to do it. He does that, we are not allowed to do it. If someone take this proof as dalil that we can do it, it's like someone who says we are allowed to swear by the sky, we are allowed to swear by the stars because Allah did it. Yeah, He did it, but He forbade us from doing it. It's like someone who say I am allowed to kill people because Allah does it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kills people all the time. Yeah, everybody who dies, it's Allah who killed him. Anybody who dies, it's Allah who killed him. And then someone comes and say, okay, since Allah is killing people all the time, I am allowed to do that. That is wrong. We don't do what Allah does. We do what Allah ordered us to do. Yes.
Sheikh, what ayah is it where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala similarity?
That is Surah Al-Nahl. Surah Al-Nahl, but the ayah number...
No,
yeah. Inshallah. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbidden us from giving similarities to, you see, when before you do qiyas, you have to do this. Before you do qiyas, you have to ask question. You have to say, why did Allah make this haram? Before you do qiyas about horse, you say horse is haram. You have to ask this before you go to the horse, you say, why did Allah make the donkey haram? This question, Sharia, religion, forbid this question. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لا يسأل عما يفعل. Allah is not to be questioned of what He does, for what He does. If He says something is haram, it's haram. If He says something is halal, it's halal, and that's all. We don't ask question, why did Allah make this? Why did Allah not do this? We are not allowed to ask that question. And therefore, we can't extract the reason. And if we can't extract the reason, we can't use it. You have always to extract the reason first before you can use it. We will bring other examples. Now, the Qadi Iyad, very famous from the Malikis, Ibn Daqiq al-Eid, very famous Shafi'i, Ibn Surij, not Ibn Surij, Shahristani, Qasani, Ibn Uqayl from the Hanbalis, said the truth is, and they speak for the people who do qiyas, they say the truth is, there is no ayah, the ayah or hadith doesn't exist that says do qiyas. They say it doesn't exist. And you look at the Quran and Sunnah, you won't find anything like this. These people admit that there is no such ayah or hadith in Quran or in Sunnah that allows us to do qiyas or order us to do qiyas. They say, but this is what the people have been doing since the time of the Prophet. And ijma', can call it ijma'. So really they don't have proofs about this qiyas. The proofs that qiyas is batil, inshallah, we will mention many. But let's go to the examples, because last time we stopped in this example. When the Prophet said, if anyone, this is the examples that many people use. Okay, since you do qiyas, you have to do this. Since you don't do qiyas, you shouldn't do this. Now, the Prophet said, لا يبولن أحدكم في الماء الراكد ثم يغتسل منه. If anyone, no one should urinate in the still water and then take bath from it. We stopped last time here. We had to prove somehow that the Prophet understands better than Umar ibn Khattab. I had this argument before with someone who says that I had an argument with someone who didn't agree that Umar ibn Khattab is more knowledgeable than Abu Bakr. When I said Umar is more knowledgeable than Abu Bakr, he said this is wrong and you contradict the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah and the majority of the ulama, and okay. And as we are talking about the Usul, we reach this state about qiyas, and then I mentioned the hadith about the Prophet taking the words literally of the Prophet, and then he said, yeah, but Umar ibn Khattab, the brother last time mentioned this, but the brother, he said it just like, but this man had knowledge, and he said, but Umar ibn Khattab contradicted him. I said, yes, and Umar ibn Khattab was wrong here, and the Prophet was right. He said, no, Umar ibn Khattab was right. So he was arguing first. He was arguing first about Umar being more knowledgeable than Abu Bakr. He couldn't take it. And at the end, he is saying that Umar ibn Khattab is more knowledgeable than the Prophet. This is what happens when you have a madhab, when you are following a person or many people, and you don't want to contradict them. You will find it easy to contradict the Quran and Sunnah, but not to contradict these people. The example of the water. Ibn Hazm said, the Prophet said, لا يبولن أحدكم في الماء الراكد. None of you should urinate in the still water and take a bath from it. Take a bath or take the wudu from it. Now Ibn Hazm says, if someone urinate in the water, he shouldn't take a bath in it. Anybody else can. Anybody else other than the person who urinated can take a bath from it. It is fine. And he says, yeah, I think this is what the thing that the don't accept from him. He says, if someone urinate in a glass, for example, and pour it in the water, that's still fine, because he didn't urinate in the water. That's Ibn Hazm saying this. Yeah, he say because he didn't urinate inside the water. And this is one of the things that if you try to mention Ibn Hazm, people will say, oh, the person who says this. Yeah, Ibn Hazm is not a prophet. He does mistakes. However, let's see what the other madhab opinions about this hadith. What does the Ahnaf say about this hadith? The Ahnaf say, if the still water is more than the height of two people, or if the still water, Alaikum Salam wa barakatuh. If you move your hand in one side and the water doesn't move in the other side, Alaikum Salam wa barakatuh, then you are okay. You can use this water. You see, everybody from the four madhab, everybody from the four madhab say, if someone urinate in water that is running, someone is urinating in this side, water running this side, someone doing wudu here or taking a bath here, it's fine. So it's almost similar thing. They are taking the words of the hadith literally. You see, that water where he is urinating is going through, and they will take a bath with that water. They say it's fine. The four madhahib say it's fine as long as the water is running. So this what about the person? Another example. Abu Hanifa, for example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that forbidden for you are your mothers from suckling. If someone suckles from a woman, she becomes haram for him. She is his mother. Layth ibn Sa'd says, if a woman take the milk, put it in glass, and give it to a boy to drink, she is not his mother, so he can marry her. Abu Hanifa says, if a woman take the milk inside the glass or inside a pot, and you put bread in for a baby, and you feed him with that milk and the bread, she is not his mother. He can marry her. Malik says, if a woman take milk from her breast and pour water in it with it and give it to a boy, drink it, he is not her son. She can marry. See the difference between the mother that has suckled you and the mother that has poured the water taken the milk and give it to you in a glass. You see the difference? For those people who say Ibn Hazm has committed a grave mistake by saying if you take your urine and pour it in the water, it is similar. I don't agree with that, but just because if someone says this is wrong, yeah, this is wrong as well then. The thing is, water, putting anything dirty inside water. Water is property. It's property. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbidden us from destroying property. It is haram to contaminate water with anything. But if someone does it, then the Prophet has said it's haram for him to take a bath in it, or to use it to wash himself. He didn't say it's haram for other person. If someone say what is the difference between the person who urinated in it and the person who didn't, the difference is like the difference between someone who has killed and the one who didn't kill. The one who has killed, we kill him, and the one who didn't, we don't. If two brothers, one kills and the other doesn't, we kill the one who killed, not the one who didn't. You see, if you have a dam with a lot of water in it, and someone dam. Okay, if you have French accent, there. If you have a dam and someone you come and urinate in it, we apply this hadith on him. We apply this hadith on him because he has done this. The Prophet, Allah has punished him by forbidding him from using this water. But what sin other people have committed? Why are you going to stop other people from using this water?
It's contaminated.
It is not contaminated. Millions of gallons of water with...
No, in a small quantity, let's say 100 liters.
We are not talking about a small quantity or not small quantity. We are talking about, we said last time that the hadith say that the water is pure. The water is pure and it can't be contaminated until you see something in it. When it has changed, the color has changed, the smell has changed, or the taste has changed, then it is contaminated. But even if it's not contaminated, the person who urinates in the water shouldn't use it. It's haram for him.
So others they can.
The others can, yes.
It's najasa. Huh?
How it's najasa? We say the water, the Prophet was asked, take this hadith, that the majority takes sahih. Take this hadith with the majority, including Bukhari, Tirmidhi, Ibn Hibban, Hakim, Ibn Khuzaymah, say this sahih. That the Prophet was asked. I say these people take it sahih, yeah? Now, this hadith, according to this hadith, the Prophet was asked about the well of Buda'a. A place called Buda'a, there is a well in it. No? The Prophet was asked about the water of this well. They said, we throw in it the dead meat, the dead bodies of dogs. Dogs have been thrown inside. And the woman, blood, menses, clothes, thrown in this water. Is it clean? And according to the hadith, he said, yes, the water is clean.
Yeah, because it's not stagnated.
This is a well.
Yeah, the well is not stagnated.
How? How? A well.
Yeah,
If the water comes from underneath from earth, huh? As if you don't take, there is a limit. If you don't take from it, then no new water will come. Because why the water doesn't go out? Because there is a limit. The pressure of the water will stop from other water from coming in. So every time you take water, the pressure eases and the more water comes. But then when it reaches one limit, it will stop. So people are throwing these things while the water is still. So it's not, this water is not running. I just give this example anyway. For qiyas.
I was going to say, in the case of it changing colour, smell,
Yeah.
or texture,
Yeah.
then in that case it will be clearly haram.
Definitely, that doesn't matter if the dam, if the water changes, if the water changes, no matter how, if the sea water changes, you see there is, you go to the beaches here, and the water is clearly changed, test, then it's haram. It's najis. It's
What
dirty.
about the recycled water? Is clean.
Well, if it's recycled, you can see clearly that it's water. It's water, and it tastes water, it smells water, and the color is water. So
It's water.
it is water. The water is clean. The water will stay always clean. You see, the way the clean things don't become dirty when they meet with the dirt. You see, someone tells you, if you touch dirt, your hand is dirty. Now, there is different kind of dirt. Water, for example, dirty water, if you touch it, there is no way you can take it from your hand except by washing your hands. But there is dirt which is solid. So when you touch it, there is nothing left on your hand. If someone tells you because you touched it, you are dirty, tell him why. Probably this dirt should have become clean. Because I am clean, I touched it. The clean thing, when it meets with the dirt, doesn't become dirty. And the dirt, when it meets the clean things, doesn't become clean. Except with proof. If something is left, if something is left on the clean thing, then definitely you have to get rid of it. You have to clean it. Yeah, this is the example of about qiyas. There is many things in qiyas. We have spoken last time. I don't want to go through the same thing again, but we try to bring more examples about qiyas. Now we say the qiyas is you extract the illah, the reason why did Allah make this thing haram, and then apply it on similar things. This illah they have been extracting all the time. Take this example for there is a hadith from Hasan al-Basri which is not marfu', it's not the saying of the Prophet, it's da'if, it's considered to be da'if, that the Prophet said لا يرث القاتل ولا يورث, the killer shouldn't inherit. This is a rule that has been taken from this hadith, that anybody who tries to take something before its due time should be forbidden. We should forbid him from having this thing forever. They say this man, the killer, who killed his father or his brother or his son, here is trying to take property before its due time. He is not waiting until the person dies naturally. So here he is trying to take. So we forbid him. We make this thing haram for him. Taken from where? From this hadith, which is da'if, weak hadith. We look at the reason. The killer shouldn't inherit. The reason, what is it? He tried to take something before its due time. So anybody who tries to take something before its due time should this thing should be made haram for him. And then we come to applying it. Now we apply it. If someone has committed adultery with a woman, this woman will be haram for him forever. This is not in the book of Allah. This is not in Quran, that if someone has committed adultery with a woman, it is haram. But there is nothing in Quran that says this woman is haram for this man forever. If they do tawbah, both, then they can get married. This ruling, people may need it a lot in this country. Many people who become Muslim. No, many people who become Muslim in this country, before they become Muslim, they have what we call friends, girlfriend, what they call it, yeah? And then they become Muslim. And then you apply this rule. Anyone, if you go to a Maliki, you go to a Hanafi, he will tell you it's haram. Why? If he is applying the rule of his madhab, he will say it's haram because of this rule. Whoever does try to take something before is the due time, this man is having a relation with a woman before its due time. Due time is after marriage. This rule here is invalid. Taken from where? From qiyas. But the people who do qiyas don't do it all the time. They always misses some points. If we try to apply this rule now, if you try to apply this rule properly, if you believe this qiyas is right, you have to apply it all the time. If we try to apply it properly, this is how to apply it. If someone eat in Ramadan before Maghrib, he should be forbidden from eating forever. Applying the rule. If someone he's trying to eat before the due time, you see, sometimes you make a rule without thinking. If someone had a relation with his wife when she is in her menses, his wife should be made haram for him forever, because it's before due time. And we give the example again about qiyas from the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Quran about the slaves, after marriage. He said, فَإِذَا أُحْصِنَّ فَإِنْ أَتَيْنَ بِفَاحِشَةٍ فَعَلَيْهِنَّ نِصْفُ مَا عَلَى الْمُحْصَنَاتِ مِنَ الْعَذَابِ. That the slave woman, when they get married, if they commit adultery, they have half of the punishment. When a slave girl commit adultery, she will have what? Half of the punishment of a free woman. Free woman will get 100 lashes. The slave will get 50. This is what Allah said. He said, if a slave woman commit adultery, she will have half of the punishment. He didn't say that a slave woman is equal to half free woman. In everything. He didn't say that. He said, if she commit adultery, she will have half. Now what the madahib, the sects say about this. For example, if we take the Malikis, say a slave man, no, the Shafi'is and the Hanafis and the Hanbalis say a slave man can't marry more than 2 women. You see, because they consider now the slave to be half human. No, this is how the truth is. Now they say that the slave man can marry only 2 women. This half, we have to apply it now, but Malik don't agree. They say that if a slave man if he divorces his wife twice, then his wife is forbidden for him. It should be normally three times. They can't make it 1.5, because you can't say divorce your wife 1.5 times. So you have to so they make it 2. So if a slave divorces his wife twice, his wife is haram for him now. She must marry another man before she marry him. What about the period? She must wait for 2 months, not 3. What about, there is something called ila. A man swear that he will not approach his wife. Normally you should give him time, 4 months. Either he must go back to his wife or divorce. Some of them say the slave will give him 2 months only. So this is qiyas. Is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in this ayah that if a slave girl commit adultery, you give her half of the punishment, it became all half everywhere. But also it's not maintained, because no one say the slave must pray 3 prayers a day, or for example he must pray Asr 2 rak'ah and Fajr 1 rak'ah. Nobody says that. Nobody says if the slave kills by mistake, instead of fasting 2 months he must fast 1 month. Nobody says if that a man, a free man, because a slave, they say a slave can marry 2 women, 2 free women. Yeah? Nobody says that a man, free man, can marry 8 free slaves, because if you put them half, now okay, 2 women will make one for one. The slave can't marry more than 2. That's mean a woman, the free man can marry 8 slaves. But nobody says this. This is the qiyas. This is the qiyas which is not from the book of Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَوْ كَانَ مِنْ عِنْدِ غَيْرِ اللَّهِ لَوَجَدُوا فِيهِ اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. If it was from other than the book of Allah, if it was from other than Allah, you will find a lot of contradiction in it. This is qiyas. The example, this is the hadith that people who say qiyas in religion will bring. The Prophet has said, wheat for wheat, barley for barley, gold for gold, silver for silver,
Bronze for bronze.
no, date for date, and salt for salt. 6 things. Haka wa hat, yeah, take and give, hand for hand, measure for measure. If you give more or ask for more, this is riba. This is ijri. So these 6 things, when you sell them, dates, salt, wheat, barley, gold and silver, if you sell them, it has to be in the spot. I give you 100 gram of gold, you have to give me 100 gram of gold, same time. And it has to be the same measurement in the same time. If you don't do it, it's considered by Sharia to be ijri, riba. Now these people, Zahiris, say the Prophet mentioned 6 things, and we stick to the 6 things. What do the others say? They will have to extract the reason why. Why did the Prophet make these things haram? We have to ask this question first. Okay. The reason that Abu Hanifa came with, he said because these things are measured, and probably his understanding is better than the others, because the measurement is mentioned here. Abu Hanifa said the reason is measurement. So anything that is measured shouldn't be sold except hand for hand and measurement for measurement. Anything that is potatoes, carrots, meat, anything that is, when you sell it, when you buy it by the scale. Not cars, not houses, it's fine. If you buy one car for two, a house for two, it's fine. But anything that is measured, it has to be hand for hand and measurement for measurement. They say it's haram to buy 1 kilo of almonds, nice ones, for 2 kilo of the bad ones. Exactly the way the dates are haram, exactly the way salt is haram, silver, gold, the things that the Prophet has mentioned.
What's the reason?
Well, the reason they say is because the measurement.
There is some certain, say for example, for the almond, if I have, for example, someone has got a shape or what you call it, yeah, he wants to get some bad one.
Yeah.
He knows that people are not going to use it to give to his animals.
So you consider that to be halal?
No, I don't know. I don't have any opinion.
I tell you, this is what happens. If it's dates,
I want a bad date.
Bad date, you buy 1 kilo for 1 kilo. If your dates are the best in the world and my dates are the worst in the world, it still has to be 1 kilo for 1 kilo. The Prophet, this hadith in Bukhari and Muslim, the Prophet sent Bilal to bring some dates. He brought the dates. When the Prophet saw them, they were very nice. The dates were very nice. So he said, all the dates of Khaybar are like this? This is the dates that the Jewish people left behind. And he said, all the dates of Khaybar are like this? He said, no. We buy sah for 2 sah, like 1 kilo for 2 kilo. The Prophet said, oh, aynul riba. This is exactly riba. What you do, you should sell your dates for money, and then with the money, buy the other dates. It's mean, I have 2 kilo dates, which are bad. You have 1 kilo date, which is good. My dates are 1 pound kilo. Yours are 2 pounds. Normally, I just give you my 2 kilo and you give me your 1 kilo. That is haram. What I do, I sell you my 2 kilo for 2 pounds, and then with the 2 pounds that I have taken from you, I buy your 1 kilo. This is halal. So, the reason that, but if I do this with almonds, I consider this to be halal. Fine. Why? Because the Prophet didn't mention the almonds. He mentioned the dates, and the salt, and the barley, and the wheat.
Maybe because there is no almond at the time.
Well, there is no almond. There was other things. They had food in there.
Right.
They had raisin, for example, raisins, but he didn't mention it. They had rice. He didn't mention it. And that's why we say rice is fine. To buy rice for rice. Kilo for 2 is fine. The reason that Malik came with is different from the reason of Abu Hanifa. Malik said the reason here is because this thing gets stored. You store them. And because you store these things, so anything that is stored can't be sold except hand for hand and measurement for measurement. The Shafi'i brought 2 different reasons. One reason is, he said 2 reasons. One, it's because food, part of these things because they are food, so every food is haram to be sold except hand for hand. And the other reason is because things that are taken from the earth, gold, iron, anything that is taken from the earth, so that should be haram except hand for hand. Compare these 3 things now. Compare these 3 sayings for the people who said we just stick to what the Prophet has said. And think about this hadith. The Prophet has said, "Utitu jawami' al-kalim." I have been given the eloquence of speech. And don't you think that the Prophet could have if it was true that these things are haram because of measurement, or because of the storage, or because of the food, shouldn't he have been able to say anything that is eaten, or anything that is stored, or anything that has that is being is sold by measurement should be hand by hand? He should have said that if it was true, but it wasn't. He said these 6 things, and you have to stick to these 6 things. If he want to say more, he would have said it. So this is qiyas. And the time is for prayer now. Inshallah. We'll continue inshallah next week.